Byter vi ämne men stannar kvar i forntiden. Kannibalismen har ju länge intresserat både arkeologer och oss andra, och man har grälat ordentligt om vad som är myt och vad som är verklighet när det gäller kannibalerna. I till exempel USA så har frågan fått en ny aktualitet genom ett nytt och stort arkeologiskt fynd av människoben som både krossats och möjligen ätits. Hans Velius fortsätter att vara vår ciceron.
Det här är Colorado-platån, där Colorado gränsar mot New Mexico, Utah och Arizona. För 1000 år sedan var det Anasazi-folkets hemvist. Här har man hittat en märklig samling människoben med märken som tyder på kannibalism. De har nyligen analyserats av arkeologen Tim White.
The Mancos Canyon assemblage comprises around 30 people. Children, women, men. Their remains are highly fragmented. They were really exploited for their nutritional value. What happened there is cannibalism.
Cannibalism is this notion that seduces archaeologists. If they're going to get any sort of publicity for their research, if they're going to get anyone to listen to their research, it seems that they're compelled to say that their site, their find, is indication of cannibalism. I believe that they're seduced.
Är kannibalism bara en förförisk idé? Eller kan vetenskapen äntligen belägga att det faktiskt förekommit?
Cannibal has one virtue. He will generally tell the truth.
I den här dokumentärfilmen från 1956 skildras människor från Söderhavsöarna som grymma kannibaler.
You're apt to wonder when a cannibal smiles at you what he's thinking. And you're pretty apt to hope he isn't thinking of calories.
Berättelser om kannibalism finns över hela världen. Antropologen Bill Ahrens är mest känd för sin bok The Man-Eating Myth om kannibalismen genom tiderna.
Almost everybody in the world have been illustrated as cannibals. For example, their illustration of Jewish people as cannibals, that is drawing the blood of Christians. There are illustrations of South American Indians as cannibals. There are illustrations of Africans as cannibals. All of these, of course, before there were cameras. When I was doing research in Africa, everybody in the town I was in believed that I was a cannibal. There was absolutely no evidence that I was a cannibal, but they believed it. And I found out that they believed that all white people, all Europeans, are cannibals.
I sydvästra Nordamerikas förbrända landskap levde bönder 1000 år före Columbus. De odlade majs och utvecklade en speciell kultur, Anasazi, eller det gamla. Men hur levde egentligen deras förfäder? I trakten av Mancosdalen ligger Jotreservatet. Det är översållat med Anasazi-ruiner och gravar. Terry Knight är hövding i Jotstammen som kom vandrande hit för bara några sekler sedan.
We're in the middle of ancient Anasazi land. We're sitting on an old, probably a lookout tower or a signal tower. This land is pretty much the same as it was back when the ancient Anasazi were here, when this tower was full and probably farming right next to the river here.
1973 inleddes utgrävningar vid en liten Pueblo-ruin nära Mancosfloden. Man hittade märkliga ben från åtminstone 17 vuxna. Samtliga var krossade i småfragment och visade tecken på bränning. Senare hittade man ytterligare ett dussin gravplatser med likartade bizarra benlämningar. 1984 inledde White sitt intensiva detektivarbete på utgrävningsplatsen i Mancos.
How does one go about studying cannibalism that happened a long, long time ago? And the answer to that is we go to the bones.
I brist på andra etnografiska belägg och ögonvittnesskildringar började White sina grundliga studier av förhistorisk kannibalism i Mancos.
Some of the sites have more than 30 individuals. They're men, women, and children. And they're fundamentally different from the mortuary remains we find at the very same sites. Because at the very same sites, we find extended burials accompanied by grave goods, very considerate burials where great respect was given to the dead. And that's not the evidence I'm talking about here. The evidence I'm talking about comprises bone assemblages where the bones are fragmented almost beyond recognition.
Liknande benfragment från hjort och muflonfår har också hittats på tusentals Anasazi-boplatser. De här djuren ingick i Anasazi-folkets mathållning. Är det möjligt att man också åt människor? För att testa sin hypotes använder White färska djurben.
What we have here is the leg bone of a deer. You can see the hoof down on the end. It's a bone called a metapodial. Now, one of the first things that happens when a deer is butchered is that sharp implements are used to remove the skin, sharp implements like this flake. That will produce cut marks on the bones, and we can study the cut mark patterning. Subsequent to that, we often have what is known as defleshing, or removing the meat from the bone. This will produce further cut marks as the meat is removed from the bone. This bone has now been defleshed, but the bone is not finished in terms of what it can provide the butcher with its nutritive value, because this bone cavity is filled with marrow.
När White undersökte människobenen från Mancos upptäckte han snitt och skavmärken som exakt liknade dem på djurbenen. Det fanns också ett speciellt mönster för benkrossningen.
We find that the human bones have been fractured. Not only have they been fractured with anvils and hammerstones, but only the large marrow-containing bones have been targeted for marrow extraction. And the bones that are small and thin, even though they're much more fragile, were discarded. And what it seems to be is a recognition on the part of those that were breaking these bones that under a certain diameter, there was no nutritive value, but once the bone shaft is large enough, once the marrow cavity is large enough to have nutritive value, those bones are all broken up.
Kan människorna som byggde de här formsköna klippboplatserna och framställde den här unika keramiken ha praktiserat kannibalism?